2:2. So the Magi, it when I read this, the thing that stood out to me was that so when the Magi came, and then Herod called for the Magi and determined from them the exact time the star appeared. And then it says right here that they came into the house. So I think at this point, Mary and Joseph was in a house somewhere. And it talked about the place where the child was. And so from this we know that they found that the child has to be maybe under 2 years old, and that's why Herod killed all the babies under 2 years old in Bethlehem and all of its vicinity. So it seems like I don't know why they were still in Bethlehem, but it seems like they stayed there for a while, maybe until Jesus was 2 years old or under that. But I don't think the Magi came during the birth of Jesus. So but I'm not sure. I think other people says that too. And then Jesus actually got moved a lot. So first of all, he came to Bethlehem, while Mary was still pregnant, got born there. Then they went to Egypt and stayed there. And then they out of Egypt, God called him, and then like he was afraid he was gonna come back, but then he was afraid, and so God told him to settle in a city called Nazareth so that he can be called a Nazarene, which is spoken through the prophets and was fulfilled. And so there are many events that took, so that it like that is kind of like leading up to it. And it's interesting because God doesn't say, oh, go back and go to Nazareth and be a Nazarene. It was kind of like God gave Joseph that choice, and he already know what Joseph would choose because he's outside of time. But he doesn't tell us what to do. He let us make our own choices, but he already know what our choices will be. He just let us do that so that we know that it's our own choice, it's our own free will. And it's interesting because today in the sermon, the pastor was saying this when Jesus was appearing to the two disciples that were talking about him, about his resurrection, and they were walking, and he kind of came alongside of them and kind of like asked these questions to get answers out of them. And then at the end of the road, when they were stopping, he made it seem like he was gonna go further, and it was up to them to stop him or not. He just didn't stop and kind of expect them to invite him in. So the way that God and Jesus act is really different. Like, he acts as if like he doesn't know, so that we would give him the information so that we initiate things, it seems. So that's just another thing that came up. But yeah, this is what I got out from today's reading.